Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation's Easter service. I have your announcements this morning. Today, Knucklehead 7 wants you. NUUC knows you have creativity to send them before midnight at this email address. And on Sunday, April 18th, morning chant and singing meditation occurs at 9:30 to 10:15 in the morning, and that's from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. Multi-faith chants interspersed with periods of silence and songs will occur at NUUC. If you have any questions, at music@nuuc.ca, and that'll be the same, I think, email address, Wi-Fi address that you got to this service on. Monday, the Spirit Choir rehearsal is always from 7 to 8:30. You can contact Suzanne at music.nuuc.ca if you'd like to come or for more information. On Wednesday, Journey to Awakening, a conscious movement from 10:15 to 11:30. Contact Phyllis Danu to register and for more information. Meditation also on Wednesday on Zoom from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. with myself and Jillian Hickey. For beginners and intermediates, you're welcome to come. Wednesday and Thursday, Sandwich Sisters fight poverty by preparing sandwiches for local charities. This is supported by our own Social and Environmental Action Committee. You can also try music@nuuc.ca for more info. Now, this morning, just before this service, the Child Caregiver Program was going on from 9 to 9:30. Zach does that in our regular Sunday Zoom space. And if you have children or children would like to come, they can just click onto our regular Zoom space and enter that caregiver program. Throughout April, if you're willing to share photos of your art that celebrates the spring, please send up to 5 pictures to music@nuuc.ca for inclusion in the next Spirit Choir video. They won't take all of your pictures, but they will at least probably take one. Circles of Trust are meeting again. If you wish to sit quietly with a group of our community elders to practice getting in touch with your deeper thoughts, please email me. There are openings now in May. If you wish to know more, you can Google Circles of Trust, an old Quaker practice, or speak to me about it. I'd be happy to. The Canadian Unitarian Council National Conference in 2021, the registration is now open. If you just click on Canadian Unitarian Council Conference, you'll get that URL address and then you can register. And also Kazoom 2021, that's the Unitarian Universalist youth aged 14 to 19 and their adult advisors. When it's May 14th to 16th from 12 to 8 p.m. each day. And it's online video conferencing from anywhere you can get an internet connection. Registered attendees will be sent the links the week before the event. And the cost, it's really sliding from $5 to $50 depending on what you can afford. And more info, if you just go to the Canadian Unitarian Council events, you can get that logo or that little that URL that you're seeing right there. Congregational song video, we want you to contribute to a congregational video of the new song Light of Love by Reverend Wendy Luella Perkins. For instructions, sent by email. Deadline is Friday, April 23rd at midnight to record either your audio video to be sewn into a beautiful tapestry of neighborhood members, and all are welcome to participate. Again, music@nuuc.ca for more info or tech assistance. Next Sunday, the theme is leadership or management. And I'll be doing the message of inspiration and the music will be by the Spirit Choir.
Good morning and welcome to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Congregation on Zoom. My name is Kurt Thompson and I will be your virtual service leader from home. Our music director, Suzanne Mazars, is off today, but has decided to join us as a participant. In her place, we will be playing videos of Chris Hale and Miranda Stone from our old congregation at 79 Hiawatha. Zachary Getchell, our facilitator of our Child and Caregiver program, will be offering a Time for All Ages from his home. And our minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, will be offering a message of inspiration today from our home at 310 Danforth. Just some Zoom etiquette. Unless called upon, please keep yourself muted, and please refrain from sending chat messages to everyone in the same way you would not sort of shout out during service, but please do keep chat open for lyrics. Our service is being recorded for YouTube and for our website. Private times like joys and concerns and other such moments will be edited out. If you do have privacy concerns, please deactivate your video and rename yourselves. Sacred space and cyberspace are strange bedfellows. So it is our job to try and find a balance. So please turn your devices to do not disturb or shut off any disturbing devices and be present. Our moment is now. Now let us enjoy our prelude offered by our own spirit choir from Singing the Living Tradition, number 266, and Now the Green Blade Riseth.
Now the green blade riseth from the very grave. We imagine darker many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again like wheat that springeth green. In the grave they laid him, loved by hatred slain, thinking that never he would wake again. Laid in the earth like grain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again like wheat that springeth green. When our hearts are wintry, grieving or in pain, let us touch and call us back to life again. Fields of our hearts that dead and bare have been, love is come again like wheat that springeth green. Love is come again like wheat that springeth green.
Okay, the symbol of our faith is a chalice. So I invite all, if you do have a chalice at home, please light it or shape your hands in the shape of a chalice. And please read with me or sing with me our chalice lighting song as Wayne lights our chalice.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
Today, pretty much all of us are separated from each other in our homes in isolation. On the lands of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations, who understand the wholeness that the land can bring, and teach us that we can grow with the budding spring and make it a part of our own wholeness. Today, Wayne will be discussing in our Easter service the idea of wholeness and how to be whole. This is our first week in our month of learning to lead. And well, how can we lead if we do not feel whole in ourselves? Today's reading comes from the late UU minister, Micro Mosiel de Wolf. It's called A Person is a Puzzle. A person is a puzzle, and they're not even a puzzle to themselves, but to each other. A puzzle is a mystery we seek to solve. And the mystery is that we are whole, even with our missing pieces. Our missing pieces are the empty spaces we long to fill. Empty spaces that make us who we are. And I really think that having our empty spaces doesn't make us incomplete. Being whole is ever changing. We were whole when we were children, we whole as we grow, and we are whole when we reach our end. If these holes are filled, like when we eat, we don't want anything more. And we don't need anything more. And that to me is disappointing, because the world keeps on offering us more and more beauty that we can share and enjoy. If you are new here to Neighborhood, a very special welcome. Please stay at the end where we will be offering breakout rooms so you can meet people from our congregation. Or if you do so wish, please stay in our main room where our Reverend Wayne Walder will be more than happy to tell you about our congregation and maybe a bit more about Unitarian Universalism. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. And now, please read with me our opening words. Let us cast a circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast a circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life. A life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place for ourselves and our children. And now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, let us join Chris and Miranda for Om Bagwar. This piece is about 8 minutes long. You may sing along with it if you wish, but also maybe think about treating it as a meditation, where you may think about how you are whole or how we may become whole.
This is a special time in our service when we invite you to look inward and share a joy or a concern in your life. Open your reaction tabs at the bottom of the main window and raise a virtual hand if you have a joy or a concern to share. If you're here on a phone without a screen, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. To speak, you have to unmute your device, and to be seen, you need to have your camera on. Once you've spoken, please remute your device. Please respect the sacredness of the ritual and refrain from telling stories or blaming others. This is a cherished time in which we share and open our hearts that we may become closer in times that are separating us. I'll offer a few joys and concerns speaking for the congregation. The first one we repeat every week, and like anything we repeat so often, we stop hearing it. But remember that everyone at Neighborhood, beyond our most excellent staff, contributes what they do as a gift, volunteering their time and energy in the hopes of making this place better for everyone. We are deeply grateful to all of them. As we try and find a way out of the third wave, I honor our essential workers, particularly those who live in the areas where the COVID numbers are highest. I hope they can get the vaccines they want and the sick days they need. I offer gratitude to the staff for last week's insights into refunding the police. And I offer a personal gratitude that I will get my first vaccination a few hours from now, inshallah. In that case, I close by honoring all of us who have unexpressed joys and concerns remaining in our hearts. And now the time for all ages. Zach, it's over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Easter for everyone who celebrates it. So today we're talking about becoming whole. Now you might wonder, what do you mean by becoming whole? I am whole. I am a whole person sitting right in this chair, thinking whole things, feeling wholly, I don't know, hungry or peaceful or wiggly or however it is you're feeling. People don't always feel whole, though. And there are actually many ancient legends that tell of a time when humans were split. There's an old Greek story that tells of a time when humans had a very different shape than we have now. It says that we used to have 4 legs, 4 arms, and a head with 2 faces on it. We could be men, women, or androgynous, which means man and woman at the same time. And these humans were so powerful that the gods were afraid of them. So the gods talked about what they should do about this threat from the humans. They talked about destroying humans with lightning like they had with the Titans, but they did not like that they would lose all the tributes that they got from humans. So they came up with a different plan. Their new plan was to split all humans into 2 pieces, making them much weaker and doubling the number of people they could get tributes from. So that's what they did. They gathered their powers and they pulled and they ripped until humans were sundered into 2. And the people were sad and in pain because they weren't whole. And for days they wouldn't eat or sleep. Until one of the gods, Apollo, felt terrible about the pain they were in. So Apollo sewed them up, leaving just our belly buttons to show of the split. You know, that's actually where the idea of soulmates comes from too. It's the idea that after that split, humans went on in life feeling like half of a whole. And that feeling of being half of something, half good, half right, is what drives us to seek connection with each other, is what drives us to seek love with each other. Now, I'm not entirely convinced on being half of a whole person, but I definitely feel that drive. And there have been times in my life where that drive feels like a need to fill an empty space. And this is a story that has been told many times in different ways in cultures all around the world to explain that feeling of empty space. Now, I don't have time to tell you all the stories today, so thank you for listening to this one. I will leave you with a question. Do you know that feeling of not being whole?
You know, many creation stories talk about how humanity lost the feeling of wholeness. In the Bible, the first man and woman are cast out of the Garden of Eden, and they were no longer whole. There are creation stories of brothers or sisters being torn in half, lovers being separated, mothers and daughters like Demeter and Persephone being pulled apart. They are all stories about how we created whole, and then something happened to make us only half of what we were. When we don't feel whole, and I will speak for myself, I try to become better, seeking wholeness. I believe if I try harder, take a course, watch a TED Talk, recycle, start jogging, lose weight, just by doing those things, I'll be happier and whole. Yet if you ask anyone what happens after reaching a goal, they'll tell you after a short time, it reveals another goal. Becoming whole is one of the fundamental questions and quests of human life. The problem is we don't know quite how to do it. And in this world of cause and effect, it's easy to move toward momentary gain in place of elusive wholeness. And I think that this is the rift, the fundamental rift between science and religion. Science asks us to experiment, to try harder, to work ever upward toward a better future. And it's true. Things get better if we work at them. Spirituality, on the other hand, tells us to cherish the moment, smell the roses, find a way to be present so we can know the subtlety of life. Good spirituality tells us we are whole right here and right now. This breath, this sound, this feeling, this taste, this touch is everything. You might have heard a note, a phrase in Chris and Miranda's music this morning that cut right through your perceptions and helped you become still. Wholeness. I am sure you've had an experience of wholeness. We all have. I remember being about 5 years old or so, and my parents took me to a store in downtown Buffalo, New York. There were no malls then. They bought me new clothes for Easter. My aunt gave them some money. I remember the clothes, they couldn't be worn until Easter Sunday, when I would go to church in the morning, and then 20 relatives would descend on our house and eat and play cards and argue and laugh. There was something in the wearing of the new clothes that made me feel whole. I would go to church and smell the smells of candles and incense, hear the bells, and I would feel like life wanted me to be alive. Life wanted me to touch the earth and love the people in it. Most of the people sitting in that decrepit old building were biding their time until it was over, but I loved being there. It was a feeling that I knew I wanted to feel often. Wholeness and full. I felt, as the scriptures say, a love for life that could not be taken away. I believe the feeling of wholeness is simply a state of grace where we know that life loves us, not in the childish ways of being happy, but in the very, you might have heard that grace is a gift from God, and it may be broaden that understanding. Grace is feeling whole in our own skin without needing to do anything. Theologically, it is life loving itself. Once you have a feeling of personal and intimate wholeness, it cannot be kept within you. It just can't. I believe this wholeness affects our politics because we know that everyone deserves to feel this grace, this wholeness, no matter who they are, no matter what the color of their skin, no matter how able they are, no matter who they love, no matter how they see themselves. Wholeness affects our politics because anything that stops us from being able to feel whole within our own circumstances cannot be supported. Greed and prejudice and poverty and judgment and inequity all fly in the face of wholeness, not only of individuals, but of culture. Our culture can't be whole until most of the people within it are whole too. This theology of grace or wholeness is important because when we feel wholeness or grace, it affects how much we buy and what we buy. It affects what we do and how we do it. It affects how much garbage we generate and how many natural materials we use. It's not easy to feel grace or wholeness in this fast-paced and overly busy world. And it can be even harder during the pandemic when we are alone and filled with our own internal dialogue, our own worries, and our own sadness. Can we feel wholeness and still act in the world? Can we do science and spirit? Can we learn a new thing, start some healthy regimen, and take a moment to smell the roses? Doing and being, they are not exclusive. We can do both. We are wired to try harder, to learn more, and to use our experience to co-create this world. And we are wired to gaze at the stars. We're wired to wonder, and we're wired to write poetry and music. My partner Joan and I were out the other night and we saw the bright orange moon rising on the water just in the dark. And even though we were in the middle of talking and walking, we became quiet. It was a moment of wholeness, of grace. In the middle of the animated talking, we stopped and sat in the chairs in the sand and watched. We were doing and being at the same time. There was little grace, little grace. It's not a big thing. Wholeness in the moment, trying harder and experiencing wholeness right here and now are not exclusive. Trying and being are our birthright. Hidden inside us is an invitation. Inside our soul, maybe just between our left and our right brains, there's some sacred place in our body where there's an invitation to do and to be. Life put it there before we were born. And the invitation simply says, when we feel we need to learn, to strive, to accomplish, we know how to do it. We can try. And the invitation also says, when we need to stop and listen for our inner voice, when we need to see that life is bigger than we ever imagined, when we can live in memories and in song and in poetry, we know how to do that too. It's not navel gazing. And we don't have to look far. Nature does this. It waits in winter, patient that all is good. It's holding on, being whole, holding on to its wholeness, filled with the grace of the coming spring, content in knowing that biding time sometimes is important. Then it's Easter, spring, when life explodes and all matter of life is created and enacted. The cycles of being and doing, acting in wholeness right in front of our eyes. It's no big deal, and yet it's the biggest deal to do and to be. Let's remember, and thank you for listening.
Now let us join Kristen Miranda again for Guru Parham Yeshu. Thank you.
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
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 नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा
हे गुरु
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
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 शांति देता शक्ति देता भक्ति में करूँगा शांति देता शक्ति देता भक्ति में करूँगा शांति देता शक्ति देता भक्ति में करूँगा शांति देता शक्ति देता भक्ति में करूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा नमो करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा
नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा
नमो मैं करूँ तेरे चरणों में रहूँगा
हे गुरु
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
गुरु प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
प्रभु यीशु तुझसे नमो मैं करूँगा
हे गुरु
हे गुरु हे गुरु
Like our bodies, our spiritual home needs nourishment in order to grow, survive, and be whole. If you have made regular pledges, we thank you. If you have made donations in the basket, please consider making a check or an e-transfer, which is pretty much the easiest way you can give. Or if you'd also like, please check in the chat and you will see a link that will take you to our donations page. All donations are welcome. We'll give a moment for any possible donations. At Neighborhood, we had a tradition of forming a circle and holding hands. But in this time of pandemic, we have to find new ways of joining. So please join us in a venerable Eastern tradition that respects the spirit within with a namaste. People of Neighborhood, I say namaste.
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 In closing, I would like to say this. Though we are apart, we must work together to keep ourselves and our community at Neighborhood whole. Our service is ended. You may go in peace. Or if you wish to join us in a breakout room, please do. If you do not, you may leave the meeting if you do so wish. Oh, sorry. I invite Wayne to extinguish our chalice. Thank you.
Although our chalice has
Been broken.
we hold the fire within our own hearts.
Okay, now our service has ended. If you do not wish to join a breakout room, you may leave this Zoom meeting. And also a reminder, if you do wish to learn more about our community, please stay in the main room and Wayne would be more than happy to talk about our community. A question for our breakout rooms today. How are you whole? How do you make other people whole? And if you do not feel whole, what are some steps that you might think of to bring yourself to this? Breakout rooms will start shortly. Thank you.